Mic check, 1, 2. Put sevens in the chat if my microphone is good. Shalom, family. Put sevens in the chat if my mic is good. Put sevens. Mic check. Put sevens in the chat if my mic is good. Mic check. Mic check. Yes, sir. Hold on 1 second. Let me fix it. All right, mic check. How about now? Mic check, 1, 2. Let me see. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Is it a little bad? A little static? Mic check. What about now? What about now? Let me know. Let me know, family. It's good. All right, give me 2 seconds. I need to it's my outlet. 1 second. Is my mic too loud as well? Or is it? Oh, okay. They said it's good. Okay. Dang, let's see. Hold on. Bear with me, family. Hold on 1 second. All right. Sounds like it's a little bit of it's a little bit of static. It's a little bit of static. But I think we just I'm gonna have to deal with it for a little bit because I gotta charge my computer. I gotta figure out. All right. Shalom, family. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Princess Erica. Shalom, Yolanda. From Egypt to Israel. Shalom. Sister Hadessa. Shalom. All praises. Okay, cool. All right. Give me sevens. I know it's probably like a little bit of static, but outside of the little static, how does it sound? Let me know before we get started. We got a lot to cover. We got a lot to cover. Okay, 7. Okay, cool. All right, cool. All right, well, without further ado, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get right into it. Bear with me. We're gonna get right into it. Y'all bear with me. Bear with me. I gotta get a new outlet, but we got a good one today. We got a good one today. Okay. Ant said good. Shalom, Ant. Shalom, Ant. Shalom to everybody online. All right. Today we're not dealing with scoffers. All right. Today we're not dealing with scoffers. Today we are going to be about knowledge, wisdom, and understanding today. So today we're not dealing with scoffers. So this is a warning. If anybody is in the chat scoffing, we will get you out of there. All right. We will get you out of there. So we don't have time for scoffers. We want to get knowledge, wisdom, and understanding today. All right. We want to get knowledge, wisdom, and understanding today. All right. So today's title today, which it should be a good one, the Arsareth, America, home of the Israelites plus more. Hopefully by the end of this, we could get some question and answers. All right. So put sevens in the chat if you've been tuning in for the last couple of Sabbaths. Put sevens in the chat if you've been tuning in for the last couple of Sabbaths. If you've been tuning in and you've seen I did the first class and we've been kind of going into the 10 tribes here and there. We got a lot of people that have hatred and resentment in their heart for our 10 tribe brothers. And I'm here to put it out on a line for all of my people, right? My so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American people. I'm here to put it on the line for all of you guys. So we've been kind of going back and forth. If you're just tuning in, don't worry, we'll bring you up to speed. We got a couple of Negro lights. All right, we got a couple of Negro lights. Hey, that's what I call them. You know what I mean? Y'all Negro lights. That's what y'all are. All right, Negro lights. We call y'all what y'all are. Y'all Negro only Negro lights. That's what you are. You're not an Israelite. You know what I mean? And I'm being facetious when I say this because, of course, even though they're in ignorance, they still are brothers. But you are a Negroite. You are exactly what you claim to be. You want all of the tribes of Israel just to be black because of your identity crisis that we suffer in America. All right. And I say we because we all suffer one. So we've been dealing with this topic because I'm going to just be honest with you. You know, we had a good interview that I did with one of my brothers, one of my 10 tribe brothers. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. I'm gonna pull up the YouTube channel. So if you have not been keeping up with what's been going on, all right, let me pause that. All right, I'm gonna share my screen in a second. So we've been having classes. The first class we had discussing our 10 tribe brothers. We had the class we did. And if you haven't seen these classes, go back and check them out. We had the class addressing Mexicans and Native American slander. And then we had the following class about 2 weeks prior to that, which was about 13 days ago. Mixed people are not Israelites. All right. So and we kind of went into the mixed argument. So those two classes is what led us to what we're going through and what we're going to talk about today. All right. So we had some scoffers. I allowed some scoffers to get on. I allowed some scoffers to kind of talk and try to prove their cause. You know, the Bible says, prove your cause. So I allow some scoffers to come on, right? And in the midst of that, there was a brother. Let me share my screen. All right. Share my screen. I want everybody to follow along because we're going to go into this deeply. I'm just giving everybody a background. So a couple days ago, I took a short. It's about 30 minutes. Okay. I took a short and and the title is Negro Light Brings a Knife to a Gunfight with Information He Cannot Prove. Now, if anybody remember this class we went into, I was allowing people to bring up their different understandings of certain things and challenges. And so in the midst of bringing up these challenges, this particular brother, I cannot think of his name, but I'll get his name in a minute. He brings out this map. All right, we got to go through this. He brings out this map. So in the midst of him bringing out this map, his attempt is to prove that Arsareth is at the time wherever this is on this particular map. All right, and it is not in America. The reason why they want to say that it's not in America is because they want to try to build an argument that the Native Americans were not dwelling in the land that never mankind dwelt. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and let's read this scripture. All right, let's get Second Ezra. A lot of you guys probably already know it, but we're gonna. This is a pivotal scripture today. Second Ezra chapter 13. All right, shalom to everybody that's getting on. Shalom to everybody that's getting on. Let's go to Second Ezra chapter 13. All right, let's go to Second Ezra chapter 13. All right, and let's start at verse 40. All right, so this is just for the people that might be new to the channel, might not know the doctrine, might not understand what's going on. If you are new to this channel, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the children of Israel according to the Bible, and we can prove it prophetic with prophecy. We can prove it historically. We can prove it with the scriptures. Okay. There's two kingdoms. There's the southern kingdom and there's the northern kingdom of Israel. All right. These two kingdoms were split after the reign of King Solomon. Okay. After the reign of King Solomon, the northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom of Israel were split. All right. Rehoboam, he went and became the king of the northern kingdom, and Jeroboam remained the king of the southern kingdom. Shortly after that, the northern kingdom went into captivity under the Assyrians, and the southern kingdom went into captivity under the Babylonians. All right. But the northern kingdom, once that Assyrian captivity was almost over, I should say, or a little bit before it was over, the northern kingdom was banished. Okay, and this is where they disappeared. And this is where different scholars have different ideas of where they went, what happened to them, so on and so forth. The Bible says that they will return in the last days and join their brothers in captivity and also in salvation, right? But in terms of now, the northern kingdom is lost. That's where you get the term, if you guys didn't know, that's where you get the term the lost tribes of Israel. Okay, this is where you get that term for. All right, the lost tribes of Israel. The southern kingdom typically stayed in Jerusalem longer. They were still, for the most part, recognizable. They were also scattered and dispersed as well, but they held on to their identity longer than the northern kingdom. They disappeared, according to historical acknowledgement. They disappeared in 70 AD, right after the Jewish temple was destroyed, after the Romans came against, all right, Jerusalem. They destroyed it in 70 AD, kicked them out of the land, destroyed the city, and the southern kingdom was lost. Up until that point, we have a lot of different people coming out of the woodworks claiming to be Israelites, i.e. the fake Jewish community, who say that they're the real Jews and now they're Caucasian, so on and so forth, and different theories and ideas of what happened to the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom of Israel. Okay, so we understand by prophecy and by history where the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom would be at. But let's read Second Ezra chapter 13, and then we're going to tackle this. All right, so we got Second Ezra chapter 13, and I'm going to start at verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land, because all of this was prophesied. So right now we're dealing with the northern kingdom, which are the 10 tribes. All right, the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom consists of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay, or half of Levi, if you want to get meticulous with it. But Judah, Benjamin, and Levi make up the southern kingdom, and the rest of the 9.5 tribes, or 10 tribes, if you want to round up, they make up the northern kingdom. So this prophecy is specifically dealing with the northern kingdom of Israel. Okay, so that's for those that did not know. Now pay attention to this prophecy, because throughout the today's lesson will be very, this scripture and this chapter will be very pivotal to understand. All right, and we're gonna get into it. It's gonna be some good stuff tonight. Get ready to take notes. Listen to me. We about scholarship. We're about proving our sources, cross-referencing, so on and so forth. So today should be a fun lesson to even pinpoint where the southern kingdom is. All right, because if you find where the northern kingdom is, then you'll find where the southern kingdom is. So this is verse 40, 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoner out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land, but they took this counsel among themselves. So Assyria, right, they took the northern kingdom into captivity, and they went into another land. They got kicked out of their homeland, and they went into another land. Verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a country where never mankind dwelt. So the prophecy says that they would leave the Assyrian captivity and go into a country that never mankind dwelt. We're going to just give a brief synopsis of this by reading it, and then we're going to get into this. So they were in captivity under the Assyrians. That's one point. Second point, when they got out of captivity, they left captivity, and then they went into another land that never mankind dwelt. Second point, in a further country. In verse 42, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the floods till they were passed over. So it says that they went and entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river. That's important as well. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. The same region is called Arsareth. All right. Then dwelt they there until the latter time. And now when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay. So that's all we need. We just need to verse 46. So what do we see here? We see the northern kingdom being taken into captivity. We see them. Hey, do me a favor. Lock the gate. Lock the gate. We see the northern kingdom going into captivity. After captivity, we see them going into a land that never mankind dwelt, and they took the narrow passage of the Euphrates River in terms of they're making their way to that area. And this place, according to 2nd Ezra chapter 13, is identified as Arsareth or Arsareth. Okay, so we're in chapter 2nd Ezra chapter 13 verse 40, and I read 40 through 46. Okay, 40 through 46. So now the problem that we have at hand today is that we have a group of brothers, aka Negroites, that hate our 10 tribe brothers. And we had this brother right here. All right, Shalom King. We had this brother right here. His name is Khadijah Show. All right, Khadijah. All right, he's with a group called FOPE. These brothers are we've been dealing with them for about 4 weeks now, so we ain't dealing with no scoffers today, but we are going to break this down today. And this particular brother, all of them are scoffers. Every single one of them, even their leader, is a scoffer. All right, you could go back and watch the 2 videos, and you can see they're all scoffers, right? And I'm let me let this be known real quick. Let me let this be known real quick. All right, I take disrespect, Shalom, young lot. I take disrespect of any of my brothers and sisters. I don't take that lightly. Whether you're black, whether you're native, whether you're Mexican, whether you're Guatemalan, whether you're Latino, if you're a part of the 12 tribes of Israel, I take disrespect of any kind to my people very seriously. Very, very seriously. All right. When you disrespect one tribe, according to the way I believe, you disrespect all tribes. And it doesn't matter if you're an Israelite or not. Matter of fact, let me bring this up real quick. Let's get this real quick. Sort of like Paul. All right. Let's go to Galatians chapter 2. All right. Galatians chapter 2. You know what? Let's get the blue letter real quick. All right. Galatians chapter 2. And let's get to the point. Hold on 1 second. Oh, this is 1. Okay, let's go to 2. And let's start at verse. Okay, let's read Galatians chapter 2, verse 11. You got it, all? All right, let's get it.
God, this is the book of Galatians chapter 2, verse 11. But when Peter was come to Antioch, I withstood him to the face, because he was to be blamed.
All right, what did Peter do? Why did Paul confront Peter? What did he do? Read.
For before that, certain came from James. He did eat with the Gentiles. But when they were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were the circumcision.
You see that? So if you know any history, we've done many lessons on this. This Gentile here are the Israelites that are scattered abroad. All right, you can read James chapter 1, verse 1. Israel scattered abroad, greetings. Israelites that made heathen customs their race or their nationality, national practice. So these particular Gentiles are actually Israelites. And when Paul was with the Gentiles at first, but then he left and hid himself because he feared the Jews, which is the southern kingdom, right? He feared the Jews, which was the southern kingdom, because he didn't want to get blamed. Because according to the Jews, you cannot eat with anybody that's uncircumcised. Well, how does that work with our people that have been disenfranchised and now they're uncircumcised? So it's the same type of hate. It's the same type of hate that you see today with so-called blacks and Native Americans. I mean, so-called blacks with Mexicans. Go ahead and open the door for the brother. Here, take my keys. It's the same thing that you see with the hatred between Mexicans and blacks today that you see at this time. And what did Paul do? Paul withstood Peter to his face because he was to be blamed. Because even though they were scattered among the heathen, they're still our brothers. So it's the same thing today, just with a little twist. Now today, they want to write out the northern kingdom altogether. And I'm here to withstand you to your face, the same way Paul withstood Peter to his face. I'm here to withstand you to your face. And I don't care about the southern kingdom's opinion. Not all the southern kingdom, but these Negroites. We call them Negroites. If you're offended because we call you a Negroite, that's just what you are. You're not an Israelite. You're a Negroite. So this is what I take serious. Just like Paul, I take this very, very serious. I take this very, very serious. Because in order for us to come back as a nation of people, all of Israel has to come back. All of Israel has to come back, not just the southern kingdom. Even if some of our southern kingdom brothers, through their ignorance, don't understand that who our 10 tribe brothers are. So today, that's what we do. We withstand. So when you see me making content, I'm going back to the YouTube real quick. When you see me making content, this content is just to bring awareness. All right. This content is to bring awareness to our people. All right. So at this particular time, this brother tried to defend. He tried to defend against our 10 tribe brothers in this video, and it didn't go well for him in this particular video. And this video didn't go well for him. The whole point of this particular video, you guys can go back and watch it, this little snippet, and then go back and watch the whole class if you need to. He attempted to bring out this map to disprove that the natives are Israelites, but we'll get into it more. So he comments, I'm gonna read a little bit of this because we have to read this. All right, I want y'all to bear with me. I have to go through this because I want you guys to understand just why I'm breaking this lesson down the way that I'm breaking it down today. So he starts off by saying, whenever you want smoke, let's get it. We already had smoke in this class. You already attempted to bring your smoke and it didn't work. You couldn't even provide any source. You couldn't even provide any source to validate your map. And even in this clip, I even said, because his thing is America's not Arsareth. Even in this clip, I even said, I'm not disproving the map. I'm not saying the map is false, but can you prove and show me where you got this particular map? We'll get into it. So he said, whenever you want smoke, let's get it. He said the name of the book, the maps is Claudius Ptolemy, the Geography, page 94, or Geography, excuse me. Now show a map with America showing Arsareth. You come in with that goofy title, bro. You couldn't stand in the kitchen with me on no topic. We're gonna see today if I can't stand in the kitchen with you on no topic. And if you think you can, set it up. Now, I don't mind a debate. Obviously, me and him at this point, we talked for 33 minutes, and I let him speak uninterrupted. He wants me to show a map that shows America is Arsareth. The problem with that is, remember, guys, we just read 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Arsareth is lost. All right, Arsareth is lost. There were no world maps of America prior to the 1400s. We're going to show that too. So if people didn't vastly, because I'm not saying everyone, but vastly didn't know about this land, you're not going to find a map until after the 1400s or after the 1500s when they set sail to this place. And when they got to this place, this is how you know he's not studied. He wants me to fight his argument. I'm not fighting your argument, right? There's a quote that I created today, Lob. There's a quote that I created today. All right, let me read this quote real quick that I created today. And it's a quote, and it reads, I had to write it down because I was like, this is a great quote. A map with no context is useless. I'm gonna say it again. A map with no context is useless. Hey, here's a map. There you go. Well, give me the information so I can cross-reference the map. Give me the information so I can validate your point. All right. So what did he say? He said, we do real lessons on our channels. You better check a man out before you run your mouth, little dude. You know, they always want to call me a little dude. Why everybody want to always call me a little dude? So in this video, it was funny. So he quoted Claudius Ptolemy, which is a Caucasian man. In this video, he says he doesn't get his information from a Caucasian man. So I simply asked, so you do get your information from white men? Noted. You do get your information from white men because I know, let me be honest, he's full of shit. All of our information, some way, form, or fashion, comes from when you're dealing with geography, maps, history, so on and so forth, because he has a monopoly on these things. He has the resources, he has the money for these things. So when you tell me you don't get your information from a white man, automatically I'm calling BS. But he contradicted himself because this book that he got his information from is from a white man. Mind you, he tried to say, this is what he tried to say. He tried to say, because I brought out my sources and my scholars, your scholars are white men. That was the argument in the video. Go back and watch the video. The argument in the video was, your scholars are white men. Okay. I never denied the people I got this from was white men. But you got your information from white man. In the video, he said he didn't get his information from white man. But in his comment, he clearly got his information from a white man. All right. So then he says, and then all I simply asked was, and I went to your source and I didn't see the map. So I was trying to find the map. You guys are gonna realize why I was trying. Today's gonna be very thorough. You guys are gonna realize why I was trying to find this map. The reason why I was trying to find this map is because I wanted to cross-reference it. All right, I wanted to get the information and study it. I wanted to dissect it. I wanted to see what it was about. I wanted to see the time period it was written in. I wanted to see who these people was. I wanted to get Claudius and Ptolemy, what was his understanding. I wanted to get the wholes, because there are certain geographical mishaps with his particular maps that's discussed in his book that we're going to pull up. All right. And I said I did. It says and then I wanted to get the map, and I was like, I looked up the map, but the page number he was giving me, which was page 94. See, he gave me, y'all see this right here, mind you, he called me a liar. So in page 94, this is the page he gave me. So when I went to page 94, let me go ahead and pull it up. Let me pull it up right here. So when I went to page 94 right here, this is page 94. This is all that it shows me. Y'all see that right here? Page 94. Right? This is page 94. This is the page he told me to go to. He said, go to page 94. And I went to page 94, and all I seen was not a map. I seen the geographical locations. So as I began to read, I do see the word Arsareth right here, and I do see it right here. So I did read it. We're going to get to this. Don't worry. But I'm just showing you that this is the page 94 that he gave me, because remember, guys, he called me a liar. He said I was a liar. All right. Remember this. So now let's go back. So I said, look, and I went to your source, and I didn't see the map. I said, email me the book. He said, gotcha. He says, and always remember this: white men get their history from what's already written and give it back. So now he's at first, so I can't get my understanding. I want y'all to hear this. I can't get my understanding from a white man, but he could get his understanding from a white man, and his excuse is it was ours. He just giving it back. Okay. He said, I'm at work right now. Got you. So I said, oh, so basically your source, right? So basically your source from your white man is okay because it's your source. Got it. Also, is it page 94, book 4, chapter 11? I'm trying to get an understanding of where the map is at, because he said it's on page 94. He says opinions and facts are two different things. I said, how do we determine what's fact? And is the map on book 4, chapter 11? I'm trying to find the map. The whole time I'm trying to find the map. I don't know why he said this. Don't get mad at KJ because you don't have the right information, my brother. Dig deeper. I don't even know what that even meant. I'm trying to find the map. Can you give me the map? Because mind you, this brother went on and did a little video, and which we don't care about that. People make videos about us all the time. But the point is, he called me a liar. That's why I got to address this. He called me a liar in the video because he said that I said that it was no maps in the book. But I didn't say it was no maps in the book. I was trying to find what page, correct page, was the map on. I said, I'm still looking for the map. Read my last statement. I'm looking for the map. He said, because the scripture in the Bible never said they got on ships. I don't know why he's even bringing up ships. I'm looking for the map still. He not answered the question. Meaning the northern kingdom. So your job is to dig like everyone else do, brother. Oh, you didn't want me to dig. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, you didn't want me to dig. You didn't want me to dig, but we did dig. Can you please help me find the map? Now at this point, I'm begging the brother. Can you please help me find the map? Is the map on book 4, chapter 11? My book is green. I guess in his mind, he's trying to say, and I'm just pulling this out because if he ever watches this, he's a slanderer. Because not once, I'm trying to get the map. He said it was on page 94. The map's not on page 94. The map is on page 205. All right. So it says, do what I did and answer, dig deep. So at this point, he said, I'm not answering no more questions until you show me Arsareth in America on a map.
You didn't answer any questions in the first place.
Right. Do a mic check. Can y'all hear my brother? Do a mic check, loud.
Mic check 1 2.
Yeah, they should be.
Put sevens in the chat if y'all can hear my mic too.
Put sevens in the chat if you can hear my brother's mic. Put sevens in the chat if you can hear my brother's mic. Okay. So this is when you guys learn how to debate, right? Okay, everybody said calm. When you guys learn how to debate, this is what we call trying to put somebody in a trick bag. Basically what that is, if you watch any like educational or scholarly debate, what they try to do is they try to make you fight their point. They try to make you argue their point. My point was never a map. Mind you, family, anybody that's seen that video, or anybody that goes watch this video, anybody seen the last class, my point was never a map. My point was, we have scholars in the 1600s that prescribe Arsareth to America. His point was a map. My point was never a map. So what he wants to do is flip the argument to his point. So now I'm arguing his point, and if I'm emotional and not rational, then I'm going to start arguing his point to no avail, because I understand there is no map that says America is Arsareth, because there was no map prior to the 1400s of America to begin with. And when Christopher Columbus quote unquote stumbled across, which we knew he knew where this place was, when it stumbled across America, or when he quote unquote, we know it's a lie, discovered America, and they started to have campaigns into America, they had a understanding that this place was the biblical Arsareth because of the different things that was going on with the native tribes, which we're going to get into. So he's trying to make me argue his point. My point is not a map. Your point is a map. I said, I'm reading the same book. At this point, I'm beginning to think you can't prove the map, because I'm still trying to find the map. This is how you know he doesn't even know his source correctly, because he gave me page 94, but it's on page 205. Right? Which we're going to get into. He said, yeah, just like I thought. I don't even know what he thought he was proving. Whenever you want smoke, bro, listen. You all smoked out, brother. You are, whatever you smoking, I don't even want, because you can't even answer a simple question. I said, okay, I'm laughing because I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to find this map. I said, also, I did, and so I started to do my research on what he gave me, page 94. I did my research. This is all important. I did my research. I did a little digging, and also I did the digging you asked me to do, and I still didn't see a map. But on page 94, it mentions Arsareth. I went into the etymology of the word, and it has nothing to do with Arsareth. What's going on here? We're going to get into that, family. Arsareth has nothing to do with Arsareth. We're going to get into it, family. Don't trip. We got a lot to cover. Y'all just bear with me today. He said, your games don't work on KJ. Okay. I know you think you have the right information, bruh. Show me the cover of the book. I can't. If anybody understands, I can't take a picture and upload it to YouTube, so I can't show him the book. But I got the name of the book. He said, I used 2 maps, same location. Stop, bruh. I know your feelings hurt. This is what emotional people do when they're emotional. They try to make you emotional, when the whole time I was laughing when I was texting all of this. Like, seriously, my wife can attest to this because she was sitting right next to me. Matter of fact, we laughed today when I was coming to class because she said, you about to deal with that scoffer brother today? I said, yeah, I am. He said, them lies you told have been exposed. I don't know how. Let me read my quote again. A map with no context is useless. I don't know how a map with no context is exposing anything. This brother feelings hurt. My feelings is not hurt. He said, we'll let you be right. I said, you showed. I said, he said, this brother's feelings hurt. Why you still writing me, bro? We will let you be right. I was still writing you because I really wanted your map. All right. What did he say? He said, you showed a map. I said to him in response, you showed a map we can't even verify to cross-examine the information. It says, but don't worry, I did my digging, like you said, and now your theory will be cross-examined this Friday night. He said, man, let me go live and expose you real quick, bro. That don't, look, going live on your platforms, that don't hurt me. You could go live all you want. Going live on a platform does not hurt me. He says, and you're welcome to come get this smoke. But look, brother, you smoked out. We already done smoked you out. Like in 2 days, you and your whole camp. It says, then one of his followers, let's go, KJ. Yes, sir. I'm sick of these clowns trying to teach our people to claim these heathens. That's the hate that they have. That's the hate that they have, because that hate actually stems from you know, the conditioning that Esau has done to our people. You know, they want our native brothers and stuff to fight against each other, but we're not going to fight. So today will be the cross examination. All right. So let's go back to the map. So this is the book. All right. So I actually had the book. All right. If y'all ever want to get like online books, this is a great place to get online books. It's called Internet Archives. All right. Internet Archives. Go here and it's a .org. You can get any book online. You know, for the most part, they have a lot of different books online that you could go and research. Watch the camera. Yeah, now you good. They got a lot of different books. You good. They got a lot of different books that you could go get online. And so yeah, I got his book here, and you know, I use this frequently. So this is Ptolemy, right? If anybody knows Ptolemy, the Ptolemaic dynasty, you could read this in the book of Maccabees. Well, Ptolemy was one of the four kings or four rulers under the Tetrarchy. After Alexander had passed away, he broke his kingdom, his Greek kingdom. All right, mind you, his Greek kingdom. He broke his Greek kingdom up into four dynasties, and Ptolemy, he was the ruler of Egypt. All right, it's called a Tetrarchy. He was one of the rulers of the Tetrarchy, and so I'm not sure if this is the original Ptolemy or what Ptolemy this is, but this is he's of the Ptolemy line. All right, and he created this book. All right, and in this book it does have the word Arsareth. All right, and so let's read this a little bit. So this is page 94. This is page 94. It says Arsareth. All right, mouth of the Asparagus river source. All right, it is bound on the east by Africa. Pay attention to this. This is important, family. It says it is bound on the east of Africa, so it is located in East Africa. All right, along the Asparagus River to that point, which is on the south side by the Libyan race. All right, so it's in the region of Libya. All right, Libya. All right, and when you go up a little bit here, so this is giving you a brief description of his map, the map that we're going to go to. So it says mouth of Assyria, Arsareth River. All right, so you see it here. So now when you go to page 205, you can actually pull up his map, and it is two maps, but I'm gonna just go to this one. Okay, just go to this one. All right, page, is it right here? Oh, it's actually page 204, 205, 204. And you can see right here in this little area right here, you see Arsareth down here in this little area right here. All right, and if you zoom back, you would know. Now these words, these are Greek words, so you're not going to understand any of this, right? See, this is the information I was trying to get from him that night, but obviously all he was focused on. See, this is called, look, let me tell y'all something, guys. Don't half-ass study. Make sure that you go thorough, and I always tell the brothers this: don't half-ass study. See, he half-ass studied. All he was focused on was Arsareth. So when you, this is how you know a person half-ass studied, when you start to ask him questions about the source that he brought out, you know. But all of these names are geographical locations, mind you. All of these are names of different nations, and this is in the word. It's in Greek or Latin. It might be Latin. All right, but you're going to find out that this particular word that's mentioned on this map and also in this book is actually a Greek word. So let's actually get into the word. All right, so here it is right here. Arsareth, all right, river. Okay, so when you go down, ancient Greek. So the word is ancient Greek, about 30 BC to 300 AD. And when you read it, it says an ancient river of North. I said East Africa. Excuse me, I misspoke. It's North Africa. Forgive me. I misspoke. I meant to say North Africa. An ancient river of North Africa, placed by Ptolemy between Igila and the mouth of Asparagus River. All right. The Arsareth is probably to be identified with the modern Old Nile in Algeria. So it's in the regions of like Algeria, Libya, and let's go ahead and Libya, as we read. Let's go back to this source right here. Let's go back to page 94. So it's going to tell you where it is. So it tells you where this region is. Okay. Okay. So when you half-ass study, you find a map, and you just so happy that you feel like you got something against a doctrine that you're not genuinely putting the work in to study it. Right? You're just looking for an aha moment, and then you find out that your aha moment wasn't so aha. All right. So it is bounded on the east by Africa. So it's in Africa, it's in North Africa, and it's in the area of Libya. All right. Libya. So as I'm doing my studying and as I'm doing my digging, like I like to do, all right, it's a couple of things that we gotta read. I got a couple of slides open, so y'all bear with me. I got a couple of slides open. Let's go here to this PowerPoint right here. It's a couple of words I need y'all to understand. All right. A couple of words. So etymology, which he didn't even understand what this word was. Etymology. It is the study of the origin of words and the way in which their meanings have changed throughout history. The decline of etymology is as a linguistic discipline. The origin of the word and the historical development of it, of its meaning. All right. Plurals, etymologies. All right. The etymology of a word. Okay. Of the word. So basically, the etymology means the origin of where that word comes from. All right. The origin of where that word comes from. So as I'm researching this, all right. So as I'm researching this, I realized that there was a different spelling. So let's go back.
That was the first thing I noticed too. That spelling difference. Yeah,
there was a different spelling. Now, when you're a scholar and when you want to, or when you aspire to be a scholar, you got to make sure that you question everything, because that's what scholars do. All right, that's what science is. It's just questioning everything. So immediately, what I realized is, I realized two things. But one main thing that stood out to me is that this word was spelled differently than this word. All right. Arsareth. All right. This is Arsareth and Arsareth. Now, question everything, because if you question everything, you'll start to see the silver lining. So I wanted to understand, okay, Arsareth comes from the Greek. It's a Greek word. Okay, that's understandable. Comes from a Greek word. All right, comes from Greek. Doesn't it sound like Arsareth or Arsareth? Sounds like Arsareth, right? So because the word sounds similar, right? That's just like saying the word Amen is connected to Amen Ra. You'll have Egyptologists, they'll come up and say, y'all worshiping Amen Ra, because when y'all say Amen, right, in the Hebrew, when y'all say Amen, all right, hey, that means that, see, Amen. That's such, first of all, they're two different. Write these words down. If you didn't know what etymology was, write that down. And if you didn't know what this word, this is another word, I'm going to come back to it, that is very important. All right. False cognates. Cognates. All right. False cognates. Let's see what this means. Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in a little bit. What is a false cognate? Excuse me. Let me go back down. All right. Pairs of words that sound and mean similar, but have different etymologies. They can be within the same language or from different languages, even within the same family. For example, the English word dog and the Mambaram word dog have similar pronunciations and the same meaning, but by coincidence. So basically what a false cognate is if there's a word that is similar, sounds the same, maybe even have the same meaning, but it is different in its etymology, meaning it is different in where it comes from. Now, this is very important to understand when we're dealing with this concept. Because isn't Arsareth a river? Arsareth is a river. It is. The Arsareth River is located in the area of North Africa, according to his source, right? We got that. It is a river. Is Arsareth, right? Is Arsareth. Well, here's the thing though. Is Arsareth a river? Let's go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Let's see. All right, so mind you, remember guys, this is Arsareth. Remember, it is a river. It is a river. Okay. Let me go back here. Let's go back here real quick before we. It is, where was it? Oh, right here. Okay. So it's an ancient river of North Africa. All right. This is an ancient river of North Africa. Okay. So when we go back to the map, let's go back to the map, page 204 rather. All right. I remind you, all of this is Greek. So the river, the area is right here. Okay. This is where it is, and this is where the river is. So it is a river. Okay. Does everybody see that? It is a river. And this area is right here. All right. So we see that. No. Okay, Khan. So Arsareth, river. All right. River. It's a river drainage. River. All right. So this is a river. But let's read and see. Let's read a little bit about Arsareth. Read that. Go back and let's get to the point. Read 43.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 43.
Read.
And they enter into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood, till they were passed over. Mm-hmm. For through that country there was a great way to go.
So there is a narrow passage of the river. There is a river here, but is this river Arsareth? It's the Euphrates River. Now, this is important to understand. This is important to understand because we know that Arsareth was not called a river. We know that the river is the Euphrates,
right,
that they traveled through.
Right.
Arsareth was the locale in terms of a land. We're going to get this as a country. Read that.
Verse 45. Mm-hmm. For through that country there was a great way to go.
Read.
Namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Arsareth.
So that was the region was called Arsareth. So now we got to figure something out. Is this a false cognate? Let's see. Let's see. All right, let's see. So I looked up Arsareth, and it says a region beyond the Euphrates River, to which the Assyrians supposedly took the 10 tribes after the destruction. So in this source, if you guys want where I got this from, this source, let's see if I got the source down here. Salakia. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. International Standard Bible Encyclopedia of 1915. Okay. This is the particular source that I'm reading from. So if you guys want this source, it is the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia 1915. Okay. So now, remember, Arsareth is a Greek word. But if you research any source, Arsareth is a Hebrew word, quote unquote, because technically Arsareth is not really, and when you do the research, it's not actually a word of an actual place. It's just the identification factor of a particular word that through the years of different mythos of Jewish understanding, and including Josephus, the word turned into Arsareth, but the word actually comes from another word in Hebrew. So these are two different languages. These words are two different because his argument was it's the same. It's the same word. It's Arsareth is Arsareth. No, it's not, because Arsareth is Greek, has a Greek origin. Arsareth has an Hebrew origin. If you look up Arsareth, you're not going to see it attached to Hebrew at all. Now, if you go to the word Arsareth and you switch it to an E, then of course the Google search engine is going to put it in as Arsareth because it's similar in how you pronunciate it. But the actual etymology of the two words is different. So it says a region beyond the Euphrates River to which the Assyrians supposedly took the 10 tribes after the destruction of the northern kingdom, and from which it was expected that they will return in the last days. The Hebrew text means another land and is probably not a true geographical name. So this particular source says it's not a true geographical name, this particular word. All right. But the word actually comes from the Hebrew word. Let me see. Eretz. And we're going to get that. All right. This is the land with the 10 tribes. Let me read this. This is the land to which the 10 tribes were deported. It is described as another land lying a year and a half journey beyond the river, i.e. the Euphrates. Mind you, keep this all in context. We got to figure out, because I want to do this with y'all. I want to go on this journey with you guys. We want to get the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We want to get truth. So let's go on this journey and let's prove once and for all where the scriptures widely say that this place has to be. So we know that this journey has to be a year and a half as well. This journey has to be a year and a half. All right. So whether you think it's on that map or whether you think it's America, just remember it has to be a year and a half wherever this place is at. It probably answers to the Hebrew Eretz. All right. Or Akrith. In Josephus' times, the people were still believed to be there in countless numbers. So let's stop sharing this. Let me show y'all something real quick. All right. Let's go to I want to go to the actual Bible concordance. Now watch this. We got a lot of tabs open today. I think it's right here. All right, here it is right here. So this is the Hebrew word Eretz.
Strong's H776.
All right.
Eretz.
I don't know if y'all can hear that. Eretz. Okay. Yep. All right. Eretz. And this is where they say the word Arsareth actually comes from. And what this means, when you look at the outline of biblical usages, it says land, earth, whole earth. Down here, number 2, it says country, territory, district, region, tribal territory, land of Canaan, Israel, inhabitants of land, right? Ground, soil, people of the land. So this word is synonymous with land. So when you look at the word Arsareth, which we're going to go back to, so Eretz, from the unused root, probably meaning to be firm, the earth, right here it says common, country, earth, field, ground, land, nations, way, wilderness, world. So now when you read it in 2nd Ezra chapter 13 verse, read it again, read verse 45.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 13 verse 45. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Arsareth.
Right, same region is called Arsareth, which just means field, ground, land, wilderness, so on and so forth. All right. And there's different scriptures that also use the same word. All right. They actually got it from, this is actually the source that I got it from. When you read Deuteronomy 29, get Deuteronomy 29 and 28. Get Deuteronomy chapter 29 verse 28. So this is a precept that can precept with 2nd Ezra chapter 13 because it is a prophecy. Read that when you got it, Deuteronomy 29.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 29 verse 28. And the Lord rooted them out of their land in anger and in wrath and in great indignation and cast them into another land as it is this day.
So when you look up that word land in Deuteronomy chapter 29 verse 28, it goes into the word Eretz, which the word Eretz goes into the word Arsareth, because they're connecting the prophecy of in Deuteronomy, because the prophecy in Deuteronomy chapter 29 verse 28 is that if you do not keep my commandments, I will push you into another land. And second Ezra chapter 13 is the fulfilling of that. So they're connecting. So Eretz, actually the word changed over time. Words change, meanings of words change over time, pronunciations of words change over time. So this Hebrew word Eretz changed into what we call today Arsareth or Arsareth, and it is not a Greek word, it is an Hebrew word. All right, it is a Hebrew word. All right, and this is how you spell it. So remember, guys, don't get confused because the word sounds similar, or it even has similar spelling to it, because the word's etymology is what it means, is what's important, because you got to understand where the word comes from if we're going to connect this passage to a particular word. So when you go to the map, and don't worry, we'll get more, I'm just making this point. So when you go to this map, all right, this word, and you can research it all you want, you will have to change the spelling. You would literally, in order to make that word fit, you would literally have to change the spelling of the word slightly. Put two S's on there and put an E on there, and then it'll come up. But other than that, let me see. Let's go back to the page 92. I love this stuff. All right. So mind you, no, 94, Salakia. So mind you, all right, this is how you spell it. This is how they spell it, Assarath, and Arsareth is spelled completely different. If you want to try to connect this word to the word Arsareth, you will have to take the S out and put an E. So you have to literally change the word around. But if you look up this word in the context of what this source says and try to connect it to the actual word Arsareth, you're not going to see it connected anyway unless you try to change the wording of it. But remember, what is that called? That's called we just researched, went through it, false cognate. All right, which is when pairs of words are similar but have different etymologies. I just thought that was interesting that the words have different etymologies. But let's keep going. Let's keep going and getting some history of Arsareth. All right. So when you dig a little bit more, let's dig a little bit more. Right. Let's dig a little bit more. I want this source first, though. Mind you, guys, don't make an assumption yet. Keep everything open. Keep everything open. Here it is right here. Now, this is interesting. Now, this is academic.oup.com. All right. academic.oup.com. All right. So all of these sources are either .orgs or .coms that we dealing with. All right. Excuse me, .orgs or academia websites that we're dealing with. Okay. So let's read a little bit about this word Arsareth. And you got Sabbateon, all right, Sabbateon, all right. This word is important too. Notice it says enclosed nation in Arsareth and Sabbateon, all right. This word is connected with Arsareth, and we're going to get a little bit of history on that, all right. So let's get to the point. Let's read this real quick. So Melveli Herman Romans Sabbateon Temple Asia Assyria Diaspora Euphrates Exile Geography Josephus Flavius. So this is the source. This is the source of where this is what we're going to read is coming from. It's coming from the Assyrian diaspora, history of the Assyrian diaspora, which is the last place that the Northern Kingdom was actually seen, and it's actually going into the Euphrates exile. All right, because remember, they were exiled into the Euphrates River. All right, And you can also read this in Josephus. All right. You can also read this in they got it in Nineveh in the Septuagint. So it's just different um, um, different sources they got up here. So this is where it's abstract from. This is where this information is taken from. So it says this chapter describes the development of the myth during the time of the Persian and Roman empires after the selling of the Bible, and later the destruction of the temple in 70 CE. So remember I told y'all about 70 AD. All right. The return of the Judite exile from Babylon under the leadership of Ezra presented the Jews of the Second Temple period with serious theological problems. So remember, the Jews went through a diaspora too. All right, they went into Babylon. Then after they went into Babylon, they went into the Greek captivity. All right, they went into the Greek captivity. But watch this. So that was in 70 AD. But what do they have a problem with? All right, it says this is the problem. If, as promised, God allowed the return of 2 tribes of Judah from exile, why didn't he bring back the remaining 10 tribes? So the problem is that when the northern kingdom went back into Jerusalem after the Babylonian captivity, well, that didn't fulfill the prophecy, because the prophecy was that the northern kingdom was supposed to come. The northern kingdom was supposed to come with them out of exile. So that was their problem, right? It says the problem was also geographical. If they did not return, where are they now? These 2 questions gave rise to 2 paralleling sets of discussion among the Jewish and Christian authors and thinkers. The theological one explained that the 10 tribes were exiled to a specific place, a special place, beyond the boundaries of this world as part of their special punishment. The geographical discussion delineated the location of that special place. Both Christian and Jewish thinkers promised the return of the tribes, but framed the ultimate return from exile as part of the end of days. So basically what they're saying is that the tribes are still lost. Let's go here real quick. Let's read. Actually, I want this. This is important. I want this right here. So let's look up this word real quick. So this word is connected to a sort of like a folklore, but the reason why I want to get this word is because I want to get the geographical location. All right. So y'all bear with me. Watch this. Let's see. This might be the same source. Okay. All right. So it says Sambateon. Okay. And this is jewishlibrary.org. All right. Jewish virtual library.org. So the Sabbateon is a legendary river crossing which part of the 10 tribes were exiled by the Assyrian king Shalmaneser, and which rested on the Sabbath. The river is mentioned in the Targum Pseudo Jonathan in Exodus 34:10. I will take them from there and place them on the other side of the Sabbateon River. The rabbis declared that the 10 tribes were exiled 3 times, once beyond the Sabbateon River, once to Daphne of Antioch, and once within the divine cloud described upon them and covered them. All right. So what we're going to do is get into Jewish folklore. Now the reason why we're reading this is because this river, right? This river, let's get to the point. Let me see. Let's read this. This particular river is connected to Jewish fables and Jewish folklore. So imagine like if the 10 tribes were lost and we have scripture and prophecy prophesying that the 10 tribes will be lost, but then we create Jewish narratives or Jewish folklore or Jewish stories. So this word is a Jewish myth of a special river, right? The Euphrates, of course, we know, but they went into a special route in this special river. But the point is, what the Jewish thought was at this time from the Jewish mythology, right? Because this is Jewish mythology of what happened to the 10 tribes. The location is what we want of where they thought this place was. These passages, so we're right here, these passages give no indication as to of the supposed location of the river or the origins of its name. The only inference that can be drawn from them is that it was located in Medina, Madai. The most extensive description of both its names and locality is given by the Nahammedans. All right, he identified the river with the river of Gozan of the Bible, explaining the name. So they had different ideas of where this river was. The river of Gozan, you know, Gozan is a province that's still in the regions of Assyria, because that's one of the places that they were exiled, so on and so forth. But notice how this river, if you do your homework, notice how this river is not connected to East Africa. All right, it's all in let me see. All right, hold on one second. All right, so notice how this river is in East Africa, but when you look at let me see. Oh, I'm right here, Salakia. When you look at the Sabbateon river, or the mythos of where these areas was, is in Gozan, which is in the regions of Assyria, which is in the northern part. All right. Let me go. What do I want? Where was I at? And also in the territories of Syria. All right. Syrian cities. All right. All right. So basically, this river is only connected to regions that's close to the Euphrates for the most part. All right, we're not going to read all of this. The point that I'm trying to draw to you guys is that the Arsareth is actually connected to this particular word, or this particular folklore, which is still all in the region of the Euphrates, or so on and so forth. So you're never going to see a connection between Arsareth and Arsareth as stated in this particular map. All right, but let's go ahead and get to the nitty-gritty. I just wanted to pinpoint that these two words have nothing to do with each other, but we still got one big problem. This river, all right, put sevens in the chat. Put sevens in the chat if y'all understand it. Put sevens in the chat if y'all understand it. Somebody asked a question. So then did Northern Kingdom go into captivity? Yeah, they went into captivity before the Southern Kingdom. Yes. Yes. All right. Yes. Put sevens in the chat if you understand it. This is a lot of scholarship, so I don't want to, lose anybody. But basically, to make it simple, and everybody saying they understand, basically to make it simple, these two words have different etymologies, and these two words are attached to being two different. Well, if you're trying to say that this is the word and it's in East Africa, well, the word Arsareth has no connection to East Africa. When you look up the word Arsareth, it's just going to always connect to the Euphrates. It's going to always connect to the Euphrates, or a region in Assyria, because that's the region that they took to leave. That was the last place they seen the Northern Kingdom. Go ahead.
To what I was going to say, when you look at 2 Kings 17:6, where it talks about them being in the regions of Assyria, and how the Hosea the king took over Samaria, it says that the 10 tribe where they were placed were in that same regions where he was saying that river is, which is in Gozan, right? And in the regions of Medes. I'm going to read it real quick.
Yep, go ahead.
2 Kings chapter 17, verse 6. It says, in the 9th year of Hosea, the king of Assyria took Samaria, which is the capital of the Northern Kingdom, right? And carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Halah, and in harbor by the river of Gozan, and in the city of the Medes. So he's connecting the dots where 10 tribe was in that same region. We're not in Northern Africa. We're in the regions of Assyria. But no, I just want to bring that point out. That is powerful, though. We're connecting those two other words that you use as well. Yeah, that's good. That's powerful.
All right, so let's go here real quick. So let's go here. All right. Type in. So go back to Second Ezra. There's a point that I want to make with this. So mind you, let's go back here. I don't want to move too fast. Okay. So it's the east. So remember, this is the Libyan. All right, south by the Libyan race along. Let's go up here because we want to pinpoint where it says this is on this map. Let's go. I think it was where is it at? I think it was, yeah. All right. So it says it is bounded on the east by Africa along the Ampagis River to that point which is in on the south side by the Libyan race along the line which above Guada joins the southern termini. All right, forgive me for that termini. All right, so we want to see. So go back to Second Ezra. We want to see, get a point. Go to Second Ezra. So we know modern day Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Syria. We all know that that's where. That's in the regions of Assyria, right? And we know that the Euphrates is in those regions, right? Okay. Okay. So let's read Second Ezra chapter 13 and read verse. Let's read verse 42 again.
This is the book of Second Ezra, chapter 13, verse 42.
Mm-hmm.
That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land.
Mm-hmm.
And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. The Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood, till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Arsareth.
Okay. So a year and a half. Let's spread this out real quick. Oh shoot! What did I just do? Hold on one second, family. Okay. So let's go into. So look. So if you do, it's not going to be accurate, family. It's not going to be accurate. We want to see how long it takes to travel. So we want to see how long it takes to travel. So I'm trying to zoom in. Let me see if I can zoom in this way. Okay. So does anybody see this right here? This is Libya right here, right? Right. So this is Libya right here. All right. So let's go ahead and let's fact check this. Let's double check. Let's make sure we want to get the correct geographical location. Let's look up, let's make sure we right. Y'all follow along with me. Yeah. Let's get that word real quick. Let's look that up. What's that? Lyan. Yep. All right, so this is Libya. All right, so everybody see that? I'm just making sure everybody see that. Everybody see that? Everybody see that? So that's in the country of North Africa. All right. So when we go back to the map, we type in Iraq to North Africa, we run against a problem. So, all right, so give or take, because Libya is here, so we still got to travel, but just this is not exact. But look, so if we're in this region here where Iraq is at, for the most part, where Syria was, you see Lebanon, you see the Jordan, you know, Euphrates is all up in this area here, If we travel, by the way, let's just say we just traveling. If you travel here, let's just say to walk, because we're not going to say to drive or anything like that. To walk, it would take 496 hours just to walk. All right, just to walk there in this, just to get in this region, because remember, they say this is where Arsareth is, right here. They saying that this is where Arsareth. All right, they saying Arsareth is right here. So Sister Aliyah, she's right on the money. It's going to take about 21 days. All right, 496 hours. Let's see where 496 hours is. Huh? And this is the question that I asked him originally. All right, approximately 20 days. So 496 hours is approximately 20 days. All right. So if we're saying, according to what his source says, that this is emphatically where Arsareth is. Well, we got a problem, because the scripture says that it will take how long? Read it loud.
Verse 45, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. And the same region is called Arsareth.
A year and a half. Now, from Iraq all the way into this particular region, right, give or take, if you want to travel from here to here, it's definitely not going to take a year and a half. According to, and this is walking. This is not a boat. This is not a plane. This is not a bike. This is walking. It'd only take 20 days. How long did it say the journey would be?
A year and a half.
A year and a half. Now, here's another problem that we run into. This landmass, let's keep reading. What did it say? What other point that we have to deal with?
Verse 43, and they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over.
Read.
For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth.
Read verse 41.
Verse 41.
But
they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen.
Read.
And go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
All of these areas are inhabited. All of these areas were inhabited. All of these areas were inhabited. Even when you go to his map. So we got a couple problems. Even if we're going to say, let's put everything out on the table and let's see where this place is at. The only thing he has is a map. He doesn't have any other scholars that are attesting that this is what it is. He doesn't have any other sources to say that this geographical location is in fact where the lost tribes are. Matter of fact, this map doesn't even say the lost tribes are here. This map just says the word Arsareth. That's all it says. It doesn't give me any understanding, and it lists other territories of people and land masses and countries. All of these places are inhabited. All of these places are inhabited. You know how we know all of these places are inhabited? We know all of these places are inhabited because we see a map and its geographical location is known. So now, for him to say that this map is the end all be all, well, this is to say because this map, I think he said this map was like in the 1500s, early 1500s. That means that he's saying Ptolemy found out where the 10 tribes were at. He found them. He found them. Ptolemy found the 10 tribes. And guess what? They're among all these other races of people, all these other nations of people. They're around all these other, but then that doesn't fit the prophecy. Go ahead. You want to say something?
And not only that as well, in verse 43, it says that the 10 tribe entered into the Euphrates. Euphrates don't even go on this side of Africa. If you look up where the Euphrates is,
let's look up Euphrates.
Look up the Euphrates River. You're not gonna cross Libya. You're not gonna cross Egypt.
Let's see. That's a good point. Euphrates River. See if we can zoom in. Euphrates River is exactly. It's right here. Let's see. Is this it? I'm trying to find exactly what. Oh wait, hold on. Huh? Oh, here it is, right here. This is the Euphrates River, and the Euphrates River travels down. So how do you travel through the Euphrates? How do you travel through the Euphrates? You see? I mean, one could say he went around. They could say he went around, traveled here, went this way, traveled into the land this way. But they also say that there were no ships, so they walked. They walked there. But that's a problem too, because it says they went through the passages of the river. Let's see how big the Euphrates. Every source says let's see. The Euphrates River is 1,740 miles, making it the longest river in Southwest Asia and the 15th longest in Asia. It is also one of the two main rivers in the Tigris-Euphrates River system, which drains an area of 800,000. What are we talking about here? Do you need boats? Do you need boats?
Didn't he say it was too small?
It was too small. Yeah, he said the river. He said they walked there. But what did the prophecy say? And all of the sources we pulled out said what? Right. That they took the passage of the Euphrates River. Right. They couldn't walk in this large. How deep is it? Let's see. 33 to 148 feet deep. So you need some type of boating system. 33. Can you walk in 33 foot deep water? I mean, look, I'm 5'4". I'm in 6 foot. I'm in 6 foot of water, and I'm already doggy paddling. I'm in 6 foot. I'm in 6 foot of water, and I'm already doggy paddling. I'm already like a doggy paddling. So you telling me that they walked in the Euphrates? And they might say some pseudo stuff like, well, God moved all the water of the Euphrates. Well, verify that. Can we prove that God moved all the water Euphrates? I mean, it doesn't. When it say hell still the flood, we don't know what exactly that means. It could mean that he calmed the waves or whatever the case may be. But what we know is that this is a large body of water that they had to travel through boat. All right, through boat. So at the end of the day, what are we saying here? Are we saying that this map is contradicting 2nd Ezra chapter 13? Why? We already went through the etymology of the words, but now we're going through, let's just put everything on the table and let's find out. We're gonna put America on the table too. But let's read that. 2nd Ezra 13, let's read it one more time. Read verse 41.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 41. Mm-hmm. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country, wherever mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes.
So off top, we can't say that never mankind dwelt in these regions, because let's look up of antiquity. Let's see. All right. So when you look up antiquity, let's see who were there. People were there. Ancient Libya had multiple religions, including indigenous beliefs and practices and religions throughout the foreign occupiers. All right. So they had a Berber religion there. They had Judaism there. They had Egyptian religion there. They had a Hellenistic religion there. If we see that they had religions in these regions in antiquity, just so y'all know what antiquity means, all right, we're proving that this place was inhabited. All right. Or let's antiquity. So antiquity, the ancient past, especially the period before the Middle Ages. So antiquity is normally before the Middle Ages. So Libya, the areas of Libya in antiquity, right? They had religions there. They had Egyptian religions in that region. That means if they have religion there, they have people there. Okay? Let's see what races was there. The Berbers were there. The Garamanites were there. All right. So we see people were there. The Berbers was there. All right. Which were Asiatic people. They arrived there in the late Bronze Age. All right. They arrived there in the late Bronze Age. Okay. Let's see. When was the late Bronze Age? Y'all gotta forgive me. I'm going through. We researching. What time period? Let's see. All right. The late Bronze Age was 1500 BCE. That's ancient. 1600. 1200 BCE. When did the 10 tribes go missing? Y'all following me? Let's just fact check all this. The 10 tribes went missing in around 722 to 721 BC. So read that again in 2nd Esdras.
2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Well, that land was inhabited. The land that he describes as the land on this map was inhabited. Well, we don't know all the lands. We can't, when we're trying to be matter of fact, we can't use conjecture. We need the facts. So off top, the travel route doesn't take a year and a half. Well, that's because they got lost and they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. So they wandered in for a year and a half. Okay. Because that's what they're going to say. Okay. I can walk with that. But there were people there. Well, we don't know if all the land. No, you got to prove that now. Because this is a pivotal point within the prophet. This is a pivotal point within 2nd Esdras chapter 13. There were inhabitants all the way in around in the Bronze Age of this particular region. You understand? There were people there at this particular time in the Bronze Age, way before the 10 tribes went missing. So that will rule this country or this place out. Not to mention, this map does not say the 10 tribes were there. It's just a word that comes from the Greek origin. Arsareth comes from a Hebrew origin. They sound similar, but they're two different words in etymology. Okay, but let's verify. Well, this map wouldn't fit the criteria of 2nd Esdras chapter 13. Because you will have to show me why people were inhabiting these areas. Because it says they went into a country that never mankind dwelt away from the heathen. You got something? Okay. Okay. Does everybody understand what we seeing here? All right. I want everybody, look, this is research, you know. I try to be as thorough as I can. So off top, this would cut this out. Now, my elder put a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful presentation together. And let's verify America now. Off top, and he admitted this in the late 1400s, early 1500s, that there or prior before that, there were no maps, and he can agree to this because he said this out of his mouth. There were no world maps. All right. He even said it. He said Ptolemy was the first person to put America on a map. So now you agree that America was not widely known to the known world. But look what you have here. You have Europe. That means these areas are known. You have Asia. That means these areas are known. You have the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. That means that these are people that are traveling these places. And you had Africa. This area was known. What don't we see? We don't see America. So wouldn't second Esdras fit the America narrative better? Why? Because it says what? A land that what? Read verse
41.
41 again. Yep.
But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
Where never mankind dwelt. Let's read this. Where is Arsareth? According to the Jewish Encyclopedia, we notice Arsareth is the name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of restoration. According to Second Ezra chapter 13, verse 45, right? Read Second Ezra chapter. We don't have to read it. Columbus identified America with this land. We proved that Columbus, and we're going to get that some more, don't worry, but we proved that Columbus did identify America with the land of Arsareth. Columbus was not the only one that identified it. We're going to prove this a little later. Every map before the conquest of Columbus had no account of any land in the Western Hemisphere, proving that the Americas were not inhabited. However, there was knowledge of a further landmass. When Columbus discovered America, there were already people dwelling there. All right. So now let's get this point. I want to skip to the point. All right. So here it is right here. Let's read this right here. All right, let's keep reading here. I'm gonna get to the point. Matter of fact, this is all important. Let's read this. When Columbus discovered America, there were already people dwelling there, which he labeled as indigenous. America and Arsareth were both known as the land where no man dwelt, right? So America was known as the land that no man dwelt. I don't need a map to prove that, because we got maps without America there. So if America's not there, that would mean that the known world don't know about a land. That means that no one's dwelling there.
Remember they said if you go too far west, what's going to happen? You're going to fall off the map. Remember they said that? Yeah.
That's a great point. They said if you go too far west, then you will fall off the edge of the world. They didn't even know there was a place there. So America and Arsareth have something in common. No one knew that a man was living there. But if we go with old buddy's map has tons of people from the Bronze Age living there. You got to deal with that. The answer of, well, we don't know if it was that's not enough. You got to prove it. If you standing on matter of facts, you got to prove it matter of facts, not hypotheticals. The scripture says that it is a land that never mankind dwelt. So watch this. It says, this is why the term New World was placed on America. Also, do know that the continent was not called America until the late 1400s by an explorer and a cartographer, Amerigo Vespucci. This is why the term Arsareth is applied to the continent, right? Because I'm not going to show you a map, but people applied the word to that continent. this continent. Although the native Indians and the Hispanics are historically recorded to be the first living in the Americas prior to the European invasion and established great civilizations, they knew themselves that they were not originally, watch this, I want y'all to take these facts down. They knew themselves that they were not originally from the land, but were strangers to it, seeking refuge and new beginning. Here is a quote from the book Lost Tribes and Promised Lands by Ronald Sanders on page 148. So write down Lost Tribes and Promised Lands by Ronald Sanders on page 148, that the Aztec Emperor Montezuma was documented to say. This is what Montezuma said. So now we're not even going with white man's knowledge. We're going with a historical account from a Native American. And this is what he said. Long ago in our sacred writings, our ancestors informed us that neither I nor any of the other inhabitants of this land are indigenous to it, but are foreigners, come from a completely different place, and that our race was brought here by a land whose vassals they all were. So we got a book reference by Ronald Sanders on page 148 by an Azteca emperor Montezuma, and he is documented to say that we were not even natives of this land, that we traveled here. Okay, that we traveled here. Look at this. This is important. Because the native Indians inhabited the Americas prior to any nation laying claim to it, we can easily assess that the Native Americans and Hispanics are the 10 tribes of Israel that are prophesied to inhabit the land where no man ever lived. So we know that. There is a large amount of historical and archaeological information to support this fact. If you reread 2nd Ezra 13:45, it says that it took a year and a half to get to Arsareth. Watch this, family. When you research a man named Fernand Magellan, a Portuguese explorer who is said to be the first person to have circumvented the world, you will find his conquest took a time span totaling 3 years, from 1519 to 1522. This information can be found in Age of Exploration, page 97, map of Magellan conquest. Well, there go a map form. All right. Everybody look up the Age of Exploration, page 97, map of Magellan conquest. This is important because now what are we getting? We're getting the time frame that it took. Look at this. Thus, it would not matter if the 10 tribes went east or west to get to Africa, because it would have taken them a year and a half to get there either way. Because when you go year round, from his explorations, it took 3 years. Okay? It took 3 years. Either way, if you break that down, one-way trip, it would take a year and a half to get there. However, maritime evidence indicates that the sea current would have persuaded the northern kingdom to travel west, meaning that from Asia, right? And that goes into when he held still the floods. All right? Meaning that from Assyria, the 10 tribes would most logically have traveled south of the Euphrates River into the Persian Gulf, southeast into the Indian Ocean, southwest under the south east portion of Africa, across the sea west to South America, and northward to the rest of the continent. All right. So here's a map. All right. And this is in the museum. All right. This is Magellan's route. This is his travel route. 1521, Magellan is killed. All right, he was killed, and they took over his route. But y'all see the route? This is his route. He started in Spain. He started in Spain in 1519 and ended in 1522. And this is just how long it would take just to travel around. All right, around the continent. That's the point. Around. And if you break that up into one cycle, from one side to another side, it would take a year and a half. Does everybody understand what we read in here? So what we're showing is that the exploration, even the natives themselves, because we're going to get that. Because now my question would be for this particular map, all right, for this particular map. Now I know Israel scattered all everywhere. We got some Israelites in Africa. We got some Israelites in Greece. We got Israelites all over the world. Zechariah chapter 7 verse 14. We know this already. My question would be, they're around all these surrounding people. Somebody got to know these the northern kingdom, but the northern kingdom is supposed to be lost. Well, how can we say, because this is what he said, you're only taken from man's understanding, a white man's perspective? No, let's get the 10 tribes perspective. All right, even the 10 tribes. All right, so let's get to the point. Let's read let's see. Okay, let's read this right here. Let me get to the point. All right, let's read this right here. The Israelites had great knowledge of oceanic navigation. We know that by 1 Kings chapter 10 verse 22, 1 Kings chapter 9 26 through 27. And the 10 tribes of Israel are the true history of the North American Indian. All right, write this book down. This is a book. The 10 tribes of Israel are the true history of the North American Indians, showing that they are the descendants of these 10 tribes. It states that, all right, so in this book it states that first we thought that they, the Native Americans, understood the geography of the country and the distance they must travel in order to get to this land where no man dwelt. All right, the year and a half journey. And second, that there was no country in the east but what was more or less inhabited by man, and consequently America was the only country at that time known that was not inhabited. All right, page 7. So we already understand that point, that America was the only known country at that time that was not inhabited, and everything else was inhabited. All right, more or less inhabited by man. We proved that because his map had inhabitants going all the way, dating all the way back to the Bronze Age. All right, 1700 BCE. Africa, Arabia, Asia Minor, Asia, and Europe were all occupied by the Assyrian and Babylonian kingdoms. All right, this map could be found in the Atlas of the Past. Let's look this map up real quick. Let's see if we can find this map. Yeah, let's look up this map real quick. Let me see. Let's see if we can find this map. Hey, Brother Donald, can you turn off the air? The water hot. Let's see. See if I could the Atlas of Times Past. Let me borrow it. What page did it say? Let's look this up. All right. Atlas of Times Past. Khan Access Scholarship, absolutely. Page 32. Let's see if we can get this. Let's see. Page 32. Let's get page 32. Yep. Okay, boom. Look at all this. So this is the Jewish diaspora. This is so this is page 32. All right, so yeah, this is going into all of the regions. Let's see, this the Mediterranean, Black Sea. Let's see, do they go as far? Let's see. Oh yeah, this is Arabia. I think this is still let's see. Okay, let's go down. Italy, Spain. Let's see if we can get a good map. Even though the map they provided was a good map already. Let's see. Spain, Germany. Oh, yeah, Egypt. This is the area I want. So, yeah, you see Egypt right here. So, remember, they said in his map, it was Libya, right? So, you see Egypt all right here. Let's see. I can't get to Libya. But you guys get the point, though. Okay. Upper Egypt, Lower Egypt. All these areas were inhabited. Let's see. This is ancient Mesopotamia. Okay. Let me see. Okay, here's a world map. So this is the world map, world by the 1000 BC. So this is the world by 1000 BC. So here it is right here. Perfect. This is what I was looking for. Y'all see this? So look, family, let's prove everything with scholarship. So this is the world by 1000 BC. This is the world. Mind you, look at this. There's no exploration to the Western Hemisphere. Y'all see that? There's no exploration to the Western Hemisphere. There's no exploration to the Western Hemisphere. By 1000 BC, nobody was traveling to the Western Hemisphere. You understand? This is all new names. Bahamas, Jamaica. Remember, this is the map. This is the world map at 1000 BC. Why I got Bahamas right there? Because this is all what we know now today. This is all what we know now today. But when you look at the eastern side of the world, look at this. Everybody was already traveling. Look at this. You got the Berbers over here. Here's Egypt. Here's the Berbers over here. You know, remember we went to the Berbers, right? This is all in 1000 BC. So we can see that all of this land mass was more or less inhabited already. Okay. So how could this even fit, the biblical narrative of Arsareth? All right. So let's keep reading. The history of the 10 tribes and Native Americans are very similar. There are multiple historical accounts of the Native Americans stating that their ancestors passed through a large body of water to get to America. So we're not just pulling out a map and just telling you, yeah, nigga, I showed you a map. Yeah, nigga, that's it. I showed you a map, nigga. See? That was on the map. The map, nigga, the map. We showing you geographical locations. We showing you historical references. We're showing you the natives themselves. We're showing you scholars from 1600. We're proving it and going down the line by the prophecies of 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Unbiasedly, everybody is witnessing this. Is this fitting which narrative is fitting the 2nd Ezra chapter 13 better? Is this random map? Oh, right there. His random map, or the history and the understanding that we given with the 10 tribes over here in the Americas? We not just saying, nigga, I got a map, nigga, I won. No, let's scrutinize everything. Let's scrutinize everything. Look at this. The history of the 10 tribes of Native Americans is very similar. Watch this. Let's read. So the Native Americans stated that they came to America of a large body of water. The same way the 10 tribes had to get to Arsareth. For example, Fray Diego de Landa says in Yucatan before and after the conquest. So this is a book, Yucatan before and after the conquest. Some old men of Yucatan say that they have heard from their ancestors that this country was peopled by a certain race who came from the east, whom God delivered by opening for them 12 roads through the sea. If this is true, all the inhabitants of the Indians must be of Jewish descent. This, you can find this on Yucatan before and after the conquest, page 8 or 28. We might want to find it. Let's see if we can find that page. See if we can find this page. All right, this is scholarship. So now you can't say they was already here, nigga, when they have their own record stating that they weren't. You see, it is right here. I love Internet Archives. It's so cool. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, you gotta get that. So let's. I think they said what, page 8. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see. All right, let's see if we can find it. I'm trying to look for it. I don't want to take time trying to find the exact quote, but let's see. I don't want to waste trying to find the exact quote. You know what? I don't want to. Let me see. Let me see if that. Let me go back to the source and see if that was. Boom, delay. 8 or 28. I don't want to waste time trying to find it, but I want y'all to write this reference down and then. Don't worry, I'll find it. I'll read through it thoroughly and then I'll find the exact quote. All right, I'll find it, but for the sake of time, okay. So let's read this one real quick. Also, Ethan Smith says, in A View of the Hebrews Are the Tribes of Israel in America. So this is a book. A View of the Hebrews Are the Tribes of Israel in America. They, the Chippewan Indians, have also traditions among them that they originally came from another country inhabited by very wicked people and had traversed a great lake, which was in one place narrow, shallow, and full of islands, where they had suffered great misery. All right, so that's page 114 to 115. They are just a couple of the various accounts. Let's try to get this one though, because it's more. Let's try to get this one. So we're not just saying, nigga, here's a map, nigga, believe what I say. We gotta verify this stuff. Do it, Hebrews. I don't know if this is the one. I don't know if they have it on the archives. Let me see. I'm not sure if they have it on the archives. I don't know if this is the right. I don't think this is the right one. Did you look up that book? Is it the same cover? Let me see. Yeah, nah, they probably don't have a book on
I mean, the one that I found, we gotta it's trying to give me the paperwork to go through.
Oh yeah. Let's read this. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, this is. Yeah, let's read this real quick. This is page 114. Let's read this real quick. View. It's called the View. On here, it's called View of the Hebrews, and it was written in 1823 at Don Smith. All right, let's read this. And it is seated that the high priest have their resemblance of the various ornaments worn by ancient high priests, and even and even a resemblance of a breastplate. These men have been called the white people, ignorant of Indian customs, jugglers, but they are now ascertained by good witness as a manifest through corrupt succession of the high priest in ancient Israel. Bertram says those with inferior priests and prophets have been maintained in most, if not all, the tribes. The Indian high priest makes his yearly atonement for sins. He appears at their temple. Wow. So this book is basically comparing the traditions and culture of the Native Americans to the ancient Israelites. He appears at their temple, such as it is, arrayed in a white deerskin garment, seeming to answer to the ancient ephod. Entering on his duty, the waiter spreads a white seat with a white dress buckskin close by the holiest apartment of their temple. So this sounds like atonement. And puts on his white beads offered by the people. This is what the Native Americans are doing. A variety of curious things are described in this dress by Mr. Adair as pretty evidently designed design imitations of the parts of ancient pontifical dress, which it would exceed my limits to describe. This dress is left in a holy place of their temple till the high priest come to officiate again. So this sounds like the holy garments that's talking about in Numbers. His breastplate was made of white conch shell, through which two stripes of outer skin pass in two perforations, while white buttons of buck's horns are superetted, as though in imitation of the precious stones on the ancient breastplate. So this is going into, like, basically they have the similar traditions as the natives. He describes their feast. So they talk about their feast, their language. Is similar. All right. But I wanted to see if it talked about their travel, but it's probably a different page. But that was crazy enough.
Yeah, that was, because I remember actually, being had opportunity to go down there. When you look at those temples that they created,
Mm-hmm.
they had multiple temples in one region, but they always had their main temple that was towards the east.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the highest priest that they had would do whatever ceremony that they was doing. So it's too many relations that you can see that correlates with what we was taught from the law as a high priest, and what the Lord wanted us to do when we had our atonements, when we kept our Sabbaths, when we kept our new moons, everything. It was a lot of similarities that they was doing. But now that's a real good point, because they temples that they had, the main temple was facing the east. That was the main.
And you went down there to visit.
I went down there to visit. Yeah.
And look, it says, and that's important because the scriptures tell us if we bethink ourselves, we're supposed to pray towards the east. Well, only because the east is east of us, because we're in the west and the temple is east. Matter of fact, pull that out if you can. I'm gonna read this. Look, I'm gonna read this part. Mr. Adair assures us when the Indian high priest is addressing, I'm not gonna butcher that word, I can't barely see it. is addressing his people and enforcing the divine speech that he calls them the beloved and holy people according to the language concerning ancient Israel. He urges them to imitate their virtuous ancestors and flourishes upon their beloved land flowing with milk and honey. Wow. So the priest would quote the similar quote of being the chosen people from Israel. And he just talks about their feast and everything, their daily sacrifices. But yeah, that's cold. You got that one? I think it's in Samuel.
I got the First Kings.
Yeah, First Kings. Go ahead.
First Kings chapter 8, verse 47. Yet if they shall bethink themselves in the land whither they were carried captives, and repent, and make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carried them captive, saying, we have sinned, have done perversely, we have committed wickedness, and so return unto thee with all their heart, with all their soul, in the land of their enemies, which led them away captive, and pray unto thee toward their land, which thou gavest unto their fathers, the city which thou hast chosen, and the house which I have built for thy name, then hear thou their prayer and their supplication in heaven, thy dwelling place, and maintain their cause, and forgive thy people that have sinned against thee.
Yes, sir. So we see all these historians ascribing the Native Americans to Israelites, and even the Native Americans themselves ascribing themselves with customs of the Israelites and so on and so forth. We just didn't give a random map that doesn't even fit 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Let's read a little bit more of this. Another historian gives an account of the various land masses that the 10 tribes inhabited. So my elder put all the historians together. The Hope of Israel, Manasseh ben Israel, page 112 to 113. I speak somewhat this discourse of the diverse opinions which have been, and shall declare in what countries it is thought the 10 tribes are: Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, the island of Cuba, the continent of America, Panama, New Spain, Mexico, and Peru. This again proves that the civilizations which the Europeans encounter on their arrival to the New World, such as the Inca, Maya, Aztec, Boricua, Mohawk, Adena, etc., were in all actuality the 10 tribes. So we can see this. We can see that America was uninhabited. We can see that it was uncharted land. We can see that the people there, on top of that, say how they got there from the books that we referenced, and we can see that the people had the same customs as Israel, which people were observing this. So what do we say, people? What do we say? Do we say all of this stuff is just made up and it's just not real, and what do we say? What do we say? What do we say? Watch this. And we went through some of this already. Last class. All right, 1600s. We talked about Lee Huddleston. So it's just so much historical proof of who the 10 tribes are. This is Lost Tribes of Promised Land. This is page. Let's go. Let me see. Page. This is Lost Tribes of Promised Land page. Zoom in. 364. All right. And this is Montezino when he encountered some of the native tribes, and this is what he heard. Let's read this real quick. It says, among the new world Moranos, blessed be the name of the Lord, who has not made me an idolater, a barbarian, a Negro, an Indian. Suddenly be stopped. Those Indians, he told himself, they are Hebrews. This is Montezino's, pondering this thought increasingly, and yet with growing conviction. So he thought, let me see, is this? Yeah, Montezino's story unclear as to the circumstances of the, I can't really read that, incarceration is equally unclear as to those of his release. Let me just read this point right here. So he told a story on this page about how a woman said to Shema Yasharallah, or the Shema Yasharallah Adonai, or the Shema Yasharallah Yahweh Athananawa Yahweh Akkad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Just go here. I don't want to read the whole thing and butcher words and all of that because I can't barely see a little bit, but read page 364 in Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, and you could get that reference. All right, you can get that reference. But man, I mean, do we need to pull out more historical proof? We pulled this out last time. I mean, 103 amazing facts about the Black Indian in the Western Hemisphere, how they were Jews, in the 1600s, 1800s. You look at fact 18, most early European writers during the 1400s throughout the 1800s, including pale-skinned Jews, all agreed that the heathen savage of the Western Hemisphere, aka Indians throughout the Americas, were without a doubt descendants of the lost tribes of Israel. I mean, and we proven that with different book sources. All right.
I know in your video too, I had the original discussion. You talked about Christopher Columbus needed translators, Hebrew translators to understand them.
But the crazy part about it is we could do the same thing with Negroes. We could do the same thing with Negroes, but they won't deny that part. Like, we could do that with the Southern Kingdom, with the Negro land map, and we got different articles that was written in the 1800s about the Jews in Bambria and Jews in Mali, different areas, Jewish Negroes. This is a article I got that was written March 23rd, 1853, page 2. Jewish Negroes, talk about how the Negroes were Jews. Oluda Iquiano, how he talked about the customs of his people linking with the customs of the Jews. So we could we could do that with black people, but they'll accept all this history. But when we can do the look at this, the ephod, the headdress that was found on a Shanti Levite, Shanti priest in West Africa, and this is an actual real picture that you could go verify yourself, and you can see the ephod 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This was in West Africa. West African priest is similar to the Levitical priesthood. They won't deny none of this. But as soon as I tell you I could do the same thing with my 10 tribe brothers, my Latino brothers, they'll say, oh no, that's just white man. You can't be intellectually dishonest. All right. So at this moment, I'm not gonna keep y'all too long. I'm gonna open it up for questions. Does anybody got any questions? Anybody got any questions? Anybody got any questions? Anybody got any questions? So what did we talk about? Basically, what did we show? Basically what we showed was the word Arsareth and Arsareth are two different words in etymology. We showed that the region on his map cannot be the region of 2nd Ezra chapter 13 because, for one, it doesn't take a year and a half to get there from the region that we left, and for two, it was already inhabited, and the scriptures in 2nd Ezra says that this land would not be inhabited. We showed how long it would take to travel from one side of the world to another side of the world, which links up with a year and a half. We showed that the land was uninhabited, like the prophecy said, which was America. And we have multiple scholars verifying. We have multiple scholars verifying that this landmass is Arsareth and the people there keeping the customs of the, like, what more do we need? What more do we need? What more do we need? Now, if I brought this out for so-called Negroes, there'll be no question. But since I bring this out on my 10 tribe brothers and sisters, it got to be scrutiny. All right. I hope that was clear. I hope it was understanding was given. Was there any questions? If there's no questions, we'll go ahead and end class tonight. I hope everybody had a great understanding. It was a lot of information. Which comment, sis? Which comment? Which comment? Oh, oh, oh. Oh, okay. Yeah. You research all praises. Yeah, definitely. Definitely we'll check that retake that research out. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yep. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, Israel. We're gonna go ahead and close it out. I just want to bring that up. All right. We just didn't throw a map in your face and say, look, I got a map. We gotta verify it and lay scrutiny to it. All right. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Have a blessed Sabbath to everybody, and until next time, we'll be live tomorrow at 7:00. We'll be live tomorrow at 7:00. So if you guys want to catch class tomorrow, it'll be 7:00, and we on the West Coast. So until then, Shalom family, love y'all. Until next time, Shabbat Shalom.